alternative or new centers of power, and today we'll be doing China. Our chapter begins with two photographs. The first one is the poster, "The Socialist Road is the broadest of all," and this represented the China's early phase after the Chinese Revolution, whereas the second photograph is of the city of Shanghai, the symbol of China's new economic power. You can see high-rise buildings, lightings, and a very modern city here. Now, how did the China rise as such a big, enormous economic power? That it is one of the fastest growing economy since its reforms that we'll be doing in this chapter, like open door policy, privatization, modernization of industry and agriculture, and the like. It is projected that it will overtake USA's economy by 2040. It is a very important economic power also in East Asian region. The strength of China doesn't just simply comes with its economy, but also comes because it has a very large population, huge landmass, and when we say huge landmass, there are a lot of resources, the regional location, and the political influence. There is, when we say political influence, United Nations Security Council's permanent seat is also with China. China is holding as one of the P5 nations or one of the permanent members in United Nations Security Council. How did it evolve? After the inception or making of People's Republic of China in 1949, it started following the communist system, which was based on Soviet model. So now it had given up all its links with the capitalist world, that is USA and the other Western countries and the countries that were following capitalism and liberalism. So it had no other way just to fall back on its own resources. So it started modeling state-owned heavy industries or feeder industries from the accumulated wealth from the agriculture. It did not have any foreign exchange, so could not buy any technology or goods from the world market. So China decided to substitute imports by domestic goods. So started producing goods domestically. This model allowed China to use its own resources and to establish the foundation of an industrial economy. Now it had consumer goods industry and it also had heavy industries. Strong economic foundation. How did it make such a strong economic foundation? Firstly, it gave employment and social welfare to its citizens. China also gave importance to educating its citizens and providing better health facility to them. The economy of China was already growing 5 to 6%, but population was also growing 2 to 3%. So agriculture production was insufficient to generate the surplus for industry. The policy of change was introduced in 1970s. China ended its political and economic isolation and started making relationship in terms of political, social, economic, cultural and largely economic relationship, buying and selling imports and exports with USA in 1972. Zhou Enlai, the premier of China, came up with the policy of 4 modernization in 1973. First one, agriculture; second, industry; third, science and technology; fourth, military. In 1978, China also came up with the open door policy started by Deng Xiaoping. These were the economic reforms that China introduced. The policy was to generate high productivity by investment of capital and technology from abroad. So you can see the picture here. that they are trying to modernize, trying to liberalize its economy, bringing modern forms of agriculture and industry. When we look at changes in Chinese economy, it was brought into by stages. In 1982 was the privatization of agriculture, 1998 privatization of industry, special economic zones were set up. Now in these special economic zones, foreign companies could come invest and they did not have to pay tax here. In China, state played a very important role in setting up of market economy, unlike in USSR where the state did not play much role in capitalizing or in transforming the economy. But in China, in transforming the economy, state played a very important role. China got an access to WTO in 2001. Now, how have these policies have actually strengthened the Chinese economy? By removing the stagnation, privatization of agriculture led to rise in agriculture production and rural income. When rural income had risen, it led to a lot of savings, leading to the rise in the growth in rural economy. The China economy includes both industry and agriculture grew at a very fast rate. The new trading laws, that is like creation of CEZ or special economic zones, led to rise in the foreign trade. China had become the most important destination for foreign direct investment. That means so many countries were open to invest their money in China. It has large foreign exchange reserves because because of removal of trade barriers, it could collect a lot of foreign exchange and creation of CEZ. China's access to WTO in 2001 has been a further step in opening the outside world. The country plans to deepen its integration into the world economy and shape the future world economic order. How actually China affects US economy? This is an example. China is the largest foreign holder of US Treasury. China buys US debts to support the value of dollar. China's role as the America's largest banker gives it a lot of leverage. This is a picture, a poster showing or the change in the growth of China from 1978 up till 2010. How Chinese economy has risen to become the second largest economy of the world. But after so much of reforms also, there were certain drawbacks. The question that has come is in the board exam is, not everyone received the benefits of the reforms. First, there is still unemployment in China. About 100 million people are still looking for job. There are issues in female employment. Condition of working conditions are as bad as they were in 17th or 18th or 19th century in Europe. Because of so much of industrialization, there has been environmental degradation. There is rampant corruption in the country. The gap between rich and poor people has also increased. So the benefit of the reforms, the benefit of the revised policies did not reach to the people in a equitable manner. Now let us discuss a few cartoons to understand China as an economic power. The given cartoon is from the NCERT. What does the given cartoon relate to? Which country does it relate to? China. What are the two things that show that this belongs to China? One is the dragon and the second is the Great Wall of China. What message is conveyed? That China is emerging as a great economic power. The second cartoon is of the cycle. what is why this bicycle has been chosen to represent China is because China is the largest country using bicycle. What does the symbol in the wheels represent? What does the symbol in the wheels represent? Firstly, the symbol in the front wheel is of a hammer and a sickle, which is the symbol of Chinese Communist Party. The symbol in the rear wheel represents the dollar, the currency of the capitalist world, that is USA. The first symbol represents the communist ideology and the second represents the capitalist ideology. So, if you have to ride the cycle, if the China has to ride the cycle, run its country, it is following both the things, communist ideology as well as capitalist ideology. So, it shows the duality in China, that how China has blended its system. The third cartoon is related to then and now. It is the icon of China and communism as well as propaganda of as a propaganda of work. This book, small book, Mao's Little Red Book, is the icon of China's communism as well as work of propaganda. During the Mao's time, everyone, all the citizens used to have this red little book written by him. The second one is Hugh's capitalist red power tie. Now, this red tie is a symbol of capitalism, is the symbol of aggressive market control. But if you look back at history of China also, the first dynasty of imperial China, Emperor Qin Shi Huang, commissioned many absurdly large scale projects, which was including one like earlier version of Great Wall of China and a large terracotta army comprising of 6,000 terracotta soldiers, and these soldiers were actually wearing a red scarf also, kind of looking like a tie on their neck. But this cartoon actually shows the change in China's orientation from Maoism to capitalism. How can you say that China has become a global player? First, regionally and globally, it has become a very important economic power. It is a very important influencer because with many countries it has got trade. So, it is a trading partner of many countries. It has its outstanding issues with Japan, USA, ASEAN and Russia have been tempered by economic consideration. So, before they take any decision, they always consider the economic relations they have with China. When it comes to Taiwan, China has regarded as a regenerate province. China regards Taiwan as a regenerate province by integrating it closely into its economy. The fear of Chinese rise have also been mitigated by the contribution to the stability of ASEAN economies after 1997 financial crisis. It is more outward looking. China is more outward looking because it gives a lot of aid policies and also invests in lot of Latin American and African country. So, it is outward looking, it is looking outside ASEAN, it is looking outside Southeast Asia, and it is also investing in countries that are in Latin America and Africa. That is why we consider China as a global player. Now, are the differences or the contrast that how did China or how did USSR move from communism, socialism to capitalism? These are the questions to be done as an assignment.